Today's case is going to be a very bizarre one. Lots of conspiracies and rumors have went on about this case. In 2003, a missing persons report was filed on a missing assistant district attorney. Little did they know that while they were filing that missing persons report, Jonathan Luna was found dead, laying face down in a creek 2 hours away. Why was Jonathan Luna murdered? And why hasn't it been solved? So, let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome back to Crime Time with Connie. I am obviously Connie, and hello and Happy New Year. If you guys are new here, I sit down every week and I talk about a true crime case. If that is interesting to you, please be sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can see my videos. Like I said, this case is very bizarre. Lots of rumors, conspiracies, theories to what happened to this assistant district attorney, Jonathan Luna, who was found face down in a creek, stabbed over 30 times. Jonathan Paul Luna was born on October 21st, 1965. Jonathan would grow up near the Yankee Stadium in South Bronx. His parents were Paul and Rosella. Paul would work in restaurants while Rosella worked as a homemaker. Jonathan was very smart and very bright. He had a lot of ambition and wanted a better life for himself, so he actually went to study at Fordham University. Then he went on to study at North Carolina School of Law. He began his legal career in 1993 when he began to work at a law firm in Washington, D.C. After this, he would obtain a position working for the FTC, also known as the Federal Trade Commission. After that, he would work as a prosecutor in Brooklyn for about 3 years. Luna would get married to his wife Angela on August 29, 1993, and she was a doctor. They would have 2 kids together, and Luna just lived a normal life. He loved his wife and kids. He was known to be very professional, smart, driven, ambitious. Life seemed to be going pretty normal. Work, wife, kids, but all of that changed when he was found dead in a creek. What happened? On December 4th, 2003, 2 workers noticed a car in the distance with its lights blinking. They found this very odd. It was about 5:30 in the morning, so it's very dark out, and in the area where they work, they were drilling employees, and so their work was out in the middle of nowhere, Amish country. So seeing a red blinking light in the distance was very odd. So the 2 workers went to go check it out, and that's when they discovered a 1999 Honda Accord just kind of teetered off an embankment, and the car was running. The 2 believed that maybe it was a drunk driver that lost control of the car. So the 2 men went to go investigate. No one was in the car, but they noticed blood, and that's when they stepped back and they decided to call the police. 2 state troopers would come. They noticed the blood, the car, and when they looked over the embankment about 4 feet down, they noticed a man laying face down in the creek, presumably to be dead. He was fully clothed, and upon further investigation, that's when they realized that he was stabbed over 30 times, mostly in the chest. This creek was located off the turnpike in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. Soon, local and federal police officers would arrive to investigate. They noticed Luna with all these wounds. They noticed the car with blood in it, and also in the car was a lot of dollar bills. I'm not sure how much money was in the car. Allegedly it was 200, and then other sources say that it's never been made public how much money was in the car, but there was bills in the car. In the car, it looked like that's where some kind of attack occurred. There was blood pretty much not everywhere. There was blood in the driver's seat, blood found on the passenger side on the floorboard, and there were smears of blood on the door. To investigators, it seemed like after some type of attack, Luna was brought outside of the car and into the creek. Or later on, maybe he himself took himself to the creek. During literally just arriving upon this crime scene, investigators are trying to figure out who this person was. Well, just 2 hours away in Maryland, Jonathan Luna is being reported missing. He was actually due in court that day. He was an assistant district attorney, and he didn't show up for his final day of the trial he was prosecuting. So he was reported missing. FBI would put 2 and 2 together. This man was probably most likely Jonathan Luna, and it was confirmed positively that it was him. His body would, of course, be brought to the coroner, the medical examiner, to figure out, hopefully, how did he die? And that's where the medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. Luna had 36 stab wounds. They seemed mostly superficial. The murder weapon was probably most likely a penknife or a pocket knife, so nothing too deep. There was a lethal cut to his carotid artery, which was actually not what killed him. It could have killed him because he would have bled out quickly, but he had water in his lungs, and what actually killed him was drowning. He did have a wound on his head, and this probably resulted from him either falling down the embankment, being pushed down the embankment into the creek. At the crime scene, there was no murder weapon found at this time. And this crime scene was searched thoroughly by probably like 100 people. You got everybody searching for hopefully the murder weapon. They looked in the creek, they looked in the field, they looked everywhere, and they could not find the murder weapon at this time. I do want to note that the autopsy report has never been made public because this case is still ongoing. What makes this case super puzzling is Luna's final steps. He took a bizarre trip, just literally minutes, like the final hours of his life, and that's what makes this case confusing, puzzling. There's a lot of missing pieces, so we're going to back this up and talk about Luna's final 24 hours before he was found dead. So the day prior, the morning of, he was actually in court. Like I said, he is an assistant district attorney. His whole job revolves around court, prosecuting criminals such as child predators, drug-related crimes, murder, felony charges. So that morning he was actually charged, he was actually fined $25 by the judge because he was late to court that day. His excuse was that he was in the hospital all night with his infant son. He continued work throughout the day, and by 6 p.m. he would reach a plea agreement on a case he was working for. This plea agreement would come up again. Many people speculate that the people involved in the plea agreement may have actually hurt Luna, but these people needed Luna. He is offering them a lower sentence because of this plea agreement. They need Luna alive. After this plea agreement is agreed upon verbally, Luna goes home to enjoy dinner time with his family, spend time with them, And the next couple of hours, we are not 100% sure if Luna was at home or he returned back to his office. His wife alleges that Luna was home until 11, but many resources say that Luna was in his office. But during this time, he was talking to other attorneys, trying to get this plea agreement written up. Wherever Luna is at 9:30, he receives a phone call from an attorney. This phone call was about 10 minutes long, and the other person does not know if Luna was at the office or at his home. Moments later, Luna makes a phone call to the defense attorney saying, "Hey, I will send the plea agreement by midnight. I will fax it over to you." We do know Luna made it to the office. We just don't know what time because police have not said when the cameras picked up him coming, but they do pick up him leaving, or at least shows his car leaving his workplace at the U.S. District Court building. Cameras picked up Luna's car leaving at 11:38 p.m. They don't say if someone is with Luna, but cameras just show his Honda Accord leaving the building. And instead of heading to the direction to his house, which was about 10 to 14 miles away, it went into the other direction. Back at his office was his cell phone, his glasses, and his laptop. These are very important because he can't drive without his glasses, his cell phone, so we can't really track his data from his cell phone from the journey he's about to descend upon. All right, so buckle up because we are going to talk about his final car ride, his journey that is so bizarre. So Jonathan Luna actually had a Easy Pass, and for those of you who are not familiar, a Easy Pass is an easier way to get through toll booths. So meaning Jonathan went state to state and just used his toll pass. By 11:49 p.m., Luna's car is seen going through the McHenry Toll Plaza, heading northbound on I-95. By 12:28, early in the morning, his car is seen again passing through Perryville Toll Plaza and is heading northbound. By 12:46, he has made his way to the state of Delaware. Again, he is coming from Maryland, so now he has crossed state line. We don't know if he's alone or where he's going. Now, at 12:57, there is activity from Luna. He took I-95 exit 3 to Newark, Delaware, and here he stops at a Exonoc. He stops at a Exonoc gas station. I know I'm saying that wrong. Exonox? He stops at a gas station. And there his debit card shows records of him pulling out money from an ATM. This camera on the ATM was not, I don't know if it wasn't working or the quality just wasn't great, but we don't know if Luna was by himself or if it was Luna taking out this money, but $200 was taken out of the machine. I don't know if this amount was the money found in the car. Like I said earlier, I said that $200 might have been found in the car, but that amount has never been verified. But we do know $200 was taken out of the ATM. So maybe this money was found in the car. At 3:20, his debit card has usage again. It picks up at a Sunco gas station in King of Persia. So there, he pays for two people's gas. Now, this could be just him doing a good deed for someone, or he is paying for someone's gas that he met up with. Now, inside, allegedly, the worker would come forward to say that Luna seemed to not be by himself. He was calm, but he did pay for 2 gas tanks being filled and 2 drinks. Very curious about these 2 drinks. Were they 2 different drinks or were they both the same drinks? Were they water Or were they like, sometimes I get water, Diet Coke, maybe an energy drink, maybe water. I'm very curious about these drinks. Anyways, he buys 2 drinks and the worker says he doesn't seem alone. By 4:04, car exits Pennsylvania Turnpike, exit 286. This, I'm getting a little chilly, get a little chills. This is where he does not use his Easy Pass, but turns in a poll ticket. On this ticket was blood. Later on, it would be identified as Luna's blood. So, from the last gas station to 4:04, was Luna hurt? Was this Luna himself turning in the ticket? I'd like to know if there was a poll worker working or if it was just some kind of automated ticket puller. But it'd be nice if we knew if someone was working. Could they verify if Luna was by himself or was it someone else driving his car? The blood being found in Luna's car and on the ticket, to me, sounds like he was most likely already hurt by then. But I don't think he was dead. I believe this because the coroner came out and said that Luna should have been alive by the time the car got to the creek. And we believe the time got to the creek was by 4, a little after 4, and he was found by 5:30. So based on his wounds and how he was found, the coroner believes that he was alive by the time he got to the creek, and then he passed away there. By 9:30 a.m., he was due in court, and then they reported him missing. His body was already discovered, and his credit card is being used, but his body has been found. And it was not his wife using the card, but someone in King of Persia using it, I think at a mall. Now, it could mean that the killer used it, but I'm sure investigators have already confirmed if this were to be true. Maybe Luna dropped it and someone picked it up and they're like, shopping spree. Or Luna threw it out the window and someone got it. There's so many possibilities with this credit card. Now, what makes this whole driving thing suspicious? Many reasons. One, it was a 4-hour total drive when it should have been 2. His body was just found 2 hours away, but his whole drive time was 4 hours. And there was an hour and 45-minute break. So from 12:57 to around 2:37, 2:47, there's a gap in between there. And we don't know what happened in between that gap. Did he meet someone? Was he just sitting somewhere? Was he lost? We don't know what he was doing in between that break. And he left the office without his glasses. He needed those glasses to drive. So, few questions. Was he driving just for driving? Was he lost while trying to meet someone? Maybe a personal reason or work related? And the gas station worker saying that he seemed to not be alone. So to me, it sounds like he met up with someone or someone came to him. A lot of questions we just don't, unfortunately, have answers to. About 2 months after Luna's body was discovered, without the murder weapon, all of a sudden they found it. They found a blade near the crime scene. Now, this blade was, we don't know, at least I don't know 100% where this blade was recovered from. Sources say the creek, and other sources say a field near the creek. But all of a sudden, 2 months later, this blade was found, and they announced it as the weapon used to inflict wounds to Luna's body. This is very suspicious because hundreds of people searched that crime scene looking for that murder weapon, and then all of a sudden 2 months later they found it. And during this time, it seems like a smear campaign was going on against Luna. In the media, they were painting a not so good picture of Luna. They received anonymous sourcing saying that Luna was in debt, even though I believe it was about $25,000. And to me, that's not very odd considering he has probably debt from school, and his wife was a doctor, so I'm assuming she has debt. So $25,000 to me just doesn't seem a lot. What is fishy is that he did have credit cards his wife did not know about. And I guess 6 years prior, he went online and looked for some ladies. He did use his name, I guess. So that's not a smart move if you're trying to pick up ladies. Now, this was just 6 years prior. He wasn't on it constantly. I think, to me, in my opinion, it sounds like... So this happened in 2003, so 6 years prior, that's when, the internet was blossoming. And so I think someone was like, hey, bro, you can find some women online. You can just pay for it, easy peasy. So I think he probably was like, you're kidding. And just like, he was a smart dude. He's not actually going to use his legal name to search up ladies on the internet. But if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. Sadly, his case would become a little bit cold. By 2004, the police came out with a press conference just to give an update about where they are in the investigation, and they came up with 3 possible theories. 1, he was killed by someone he knew. 2, he was killed by someone he did not know. And 3, which seemed to me what they honestly believe, is that he took his own life. Why do I think this? Is because in the media, they kept receiving anonymous federal sourcing saying that Luna took his own life. Everyone finds this super odd. Friends and family believe Luna did not take his own life. They believe that he was murdered. And then it comes out that apparently the FBI wants the medical examiner to change the manner of death from homicide to a suicide. Now, this medical examiner will not do that. He's not going to change his opinion overnight in a snap of a finger just because they want him to. Because this medical examiner believes in his professional opinion, his job that I'm sure he's done for decades, that the manner of death was homicide. And I'm glad he backed down to the FBI because I think he's telling the truth. The medical examiner would put an inquest in to have a meeting, talk with the FBI to come up with, why he thinks Luna's death was a homicide. And not much happened after that. The FBI seemed to have refused to want to meet with the medical examiner or just back down. Now, these anonymous federal sources constantly went to the media with inside scoop about Luna's case. They believed that Luna stabbed himself, got out of the car, and threw himself down the embankment and bled out, and did this for maybe a few reasons. It wasn't reported if there was a trail of blood leaving the crime scene, meaning that if Luna were to stab himself in the front seat of his car and then get out of the car and throw the weapon into the field, if it was found in the field, the crime scene doesn't support that narrative. Now, if he were to stab himself and then throw himself off the embankment into the creek, and the murder weapon, the weapon was found in the creek, that makes more sense to me. But why do they believe Luna did this to himself? Well, I guess Luna was due to take a polygraph test just 2 days. In the 2 days after he was found deceased, and this polygraph test pertained to a case he prosecuted, I believe, just a year prior. And this was a robbery, I think it was a bank robbery case. And the money in evidence, $36,000, went missing from the evidence locker. I'm not sure if it was in a locker. I'm assuming it was in a locker. But it would come out that Luna didn't have access to this money, and the people who did were the FBI in Baltimore. And Luna wasn't the only one that was supposed to take a polygraph test pertaining to the missing money. It also came to light that Luna might have not been in the best work environment. It's a lot of he said with his boss. Allegedly, he had a good relationship with his boss, but then he didn't. There was some complaints filed, people taking back their word about Luna's situation at work. Again, we don't know, but if you want to say that Luna's job was at stake, maybe he tried to stage an attack to gain sympathy and he accidentally took his own life in the process. Or he was involved in the missing money plus the bad work environment and he took his life on purpose, or he staged the attack to gain sympathy. Now, Luna's case went cold and is unsolved, but I believe that it should be solvable. This case is open, so with that, files are sealed. A lot of things have not been made public, and the stuff that is made public, it's hard to puzzle together. There's missing pieces. A lot of things are just not confirmed or just rumors. Now, one bizarre thing that has come to light is that allegedly the undertaker and the funeral home workers have come out to say that Luna's body was just not superficially stabbed 36 times. He had a stab wound in the back of his shoulder, under his shoulder. His hands were shredded, and there's a slash to his groin. Now, the slash to his groin area circulated early on in the investigation, but it seemed like investigators tried to shut that rumor down, but people have come forward to say, no, we saw this. His groin was slashed. With the hand shredding situation, it could be defensive wounds, or if you want to go with the narrative that he did this himself, if you're dealing with a pocket knife or a penknife, it might not be easily locked, and if he's trying to hurt himself, it could hurt his hands more. But I just don't see someone doing this themselves. It's hard to believe. It's possible. And how was he able to reach his back and stab it? There's just so many questions. And there was DNA found in his car, I believe a fingerprint belonging not to Luna, but someone unidentified. I'm hoping that someday they can identify who this fingerprint belongs to. So what happened to Jonathan Luna? There's so many theories as to what happened. It's a very fishy case in my opinion. It seems like he went to the office and maybe was lured out of his office because he left his glasses and his cell phone. There must have been something important for him to leave the office. I have glasses and I need them to survive. I mean, I'm not wearing them right now, but friends and family say Luna needed it to drive, and I believe that. So why was he driving? Why was he in a hurry to leave his office? And he was supposed to fax over that plea agreement by midnight. He wouldn't just leave his work like that without faxing over that plea agreement because it was very important. So he must have something huge made him leave that office, whether it was willingly or not willingly. But the groin slash seems very personal, and the only thing that I could see that fits the narrative of him doing this to himself is that if someone were to lure him out of his office and take, or say, meet me here, why didn't they bring a murder weapon? Why did they use it was alleged, they say it was Luna's knife pocket or pin pocket belonging to Luna, so why would the bad guy use that? Maybe Luna tried to fight back. This case reminds me a lot about the Ray Graycard case. I covered that not too long ago. They're both missing. Well, Ray's body has never been found, but he was a missing district attorney. Ray went missing in 2005, and Jonathan was found murdered in 2003. The areas are kind of close. It's one of those cases you think about at night, you know, like all the possibilities, all the theories, the rumors, conspiracies. You go down one route and it takes you down another. But that is it for today's case. That is the case about Jonathan Luna. There is a book about this case. It's called Midnight Run. I will link it down below. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, that is it for today. I really want to know what you guys think. But yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. So please, please, please stay safe out there and stay golden.